Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're well. How does my intro go? Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're... Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome if you're new. I hope you're all doing well. And welcome back to week 2 of my prompt to prompt challenge. It is now Monday, don't mind laundry in the background. It is Easter Monday, so I've basically been sat on my sofa all day reading my book. I pulled this book out last week to complete the prompt to continue a series and to flip a coin, and this is the book that I chose. If you want to see last week's vlog, I'll link up above and down below for you guys. But this is the second book to the Cursed, Dark and Lonely series by Bridget Kemmerer, and I'm over halfway through. My aim today is to finish this book. I started on page 150. I'm now 285 pages in, so I'm hoping I can get it done. But we do have the cinema later. We're going to go see Super Mario, the animated film with Chris Pratt starring, so that should be good, but obviously cuts out my reading time a little bit. But I'm kind of hoping I can get this book done today so I can pull another prompt on day 1 with you guys of this next week. So fingers crossed, but I am really enjoying it so far. It took me a little bit of time to get into it because I haven't read A Cursed, Dark and Lonely since 2021. So about a year and a half ago, I last read the first book. And so I thought it was going to be a little bit iffy getting into it, but it took me about 50 pages to get into it, and then I was absolutely fine, and I'm really, really enjoying it. It's very kind of like travel heavy, so it's basically just following on from the first book, but there's like an entire journey in this book, so it keeps you kind of like guessing and turning the page because like it's traveling across kind of nations and political intrigue and all that sort of stuff. But I'm not a massive fantasy reader, but for me this is the perfect amount of world building, the perfect amount of political intrigue to not go like completely over my head for a non-fantasy reader that I am. I love the characters, I love the romances in this book, so it's like the perfect balance of kind of contemporary, obviously not contemporary because it's a fantasy, but the terms of like relationship, character development, and relationships in this book is like the perfect amount for me for being a contemporary reader, merging that with fantasy with a perfect amount of world building and political intrigue and kind of like adventure. It's the perfect amount, so I do really enjoy the series, and I'm glad that this prompt to prompt challenge has finally got me around to reading the sequel, because I think otherwise I would have been putting off for a very, very long time. But I'm going to go now. I just wanted to start this vlog, and hopefully I'll come back in with you once I finish this book and we can pick another prompt. How excited will that be?
What if the world had more of your smile? What if the wind could spread your love? What if your sweetness could reach everyone? There'd be no wars. Maybe the birds will sing about your heart. Maybe the trees will whisper the word. Maybe the sun will spread your joy to the ones who lost their hope.
Just got back from the cinema. I would give it a solid like 9 out of 10. I really, really enjoyed that. So much fun. Featured all the classic Super Mario Brother moments, including Mario Kart, which is my fave. I say my fave. I haven't really played much like Super Mario Bros. Games across kind of like the ultimate collection, but Mario Kart is brilliant, and there was a whole Mario Kart scene which I thoroughly enjoyed. But it's now coming up to 8:30, and I am still on a mission to finish my book before the end of the night. I have about 80 pages left. Can I do it? That is the question. I have made myself a cup of tea, so I'm going to settle down and try and finish this before I go to bed. I have finished this book. It's just gone 9:30, so I finished it with time to spare. Yay for me. Loved this book. I'm giving it a 4.5 stars. Yay. Now I really want to read the second one, and obviously because of this game, this challenge, I'm still wonky. Because of this challenge, I can't kind of decide what I'm reading until I pull a prompt. So before I go to bed, I'm going to pull a prompt and hope it gives me something nice, like continue a series, or like random colour on the cover and hope we get red. I don't know, something along the lines. But this prompt pull will be my next physical book, and my camera battery's dying, so I need to make this quick. I'm going to go right at the bottom. I'm going to pull loads out as I do it. It's going to be this one, and it is. Does that say random letter? Random letter. Can we get a vowel? Can we get a V, please? Random letter. I don't have time to record my screen because my camera battery's dying. But we had random letter for Spanish love deception. So let's spin again. You've got to be kidding me. What are the chances? Last week I had random letter and I got S, and now I've got S again. What are the chances? Right, I'm going to figure out a book because it clearly isn't going to be a vowel so bold and deadly. Sadly, because I really want to read the sequel. I need to figure a book with S in the title. Give me a second. Still not over the fact that it gave me random letter and another S, but I have 4 options I can pick between. A Spark of Light by Jodie Picoult. Definitely a possibility. We have Conversation with Friends by Sally Rooney because Sally Rooney begins with S. Not so much of a possibility. The Party Crasher by Sophie Kinsella I think will be a really good switch up between what I've just read. And then we also have The 7-Day Switch by Kelly Yarms, which will also be a really good switch up, and also it's less than 300 pages. So I think it's going to be between these 2. I'm not going to make a decision yet because I want to go to bed, but I can sleep on these 4 and think in the morning about which one I want to start because I'm not too sure yet. But these are the 4 books that I have beginning with S or the author's name beginning with F from my physical TBR that I can pick between as my next physical read. So I'm going to leave it here and I will see you in the morning. But yeah, finished my first book for the week and it's only Monday. Yay. Happy Tuesday, guys. So I left you on, I don't know which book I'm going to pick for my next read, seeing as it was another random letter and it was the letter S again. Still baffles me. The amount of prompts I have, and there was 26 letters in the alphabet, I'm baffled. Anyway, so I didn't know what one to pick, so I put a poll up on Instagram. If you want to partake in future Instagram polls, then my Instagram is always linked below. I'll put it on the screen as well. But I don't do this very often, but I'm going to try and start doing it quite often, especially with this sort of challenge. It's fun to kind of give the choice to other people. So I put this picture on Instagram and I put it with a poll on my story. And as you can see, from a good chunk, The Party Crasher by Sophie Kinsella has won. I'm going to leave it at that. It's been up for about 4-ish hours now, and I am about to start my lunch break, so I kind of want to have a book ready to read. The Party Crasher is going to be my next physical book. Wasn't expecting to read this one anytime soon, but here we are. Someone put on Instagram that they picked this book because it had a green spring cover, and I kind of agree. This should be a fun read. This basically follows our main character who's going back home to her old childhood home because her parents are about to sell it and they're doing like a farewell party to the house, but the main character hasn't been invited, so she kind of crashes her own parents goodbye to her childhood home party, and something happens and secrets get spilled, and I'm quite intrigued. It's apparently very funny. This will be my first Sophie Kinsella book, so I'm intrigued. This is my first physical book. However, I came on here because it's time to put another prompt. I would like to go for a walk on my lunch break, so therefore it's an opportunity to read an audiobook or listen to an audiobook. So I don't want to shake too much because last time I delved in deep and I got the same prompt I've got before. So I'm just going to, don't think too much about it, going to pull this one and let's pick an audiobook that I'm going to listen to. Memoir. Okay, this is one of my new prompts. I'm excited. Wasn't expecting, definitely won't be able to take anything off my physical or TBR. I might be able to actually. I'm pretty sure this is an audiobook on Scribd. Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton. I'm pretty sure this is an audiobook on Scribd. Well, it was an audiobook on Scribd. It isn't anymore. Oh, that's annoying. I really thought I was going to read that. My other memoir I have on my TBR is Crying in a H Mark. I don't think this is going to be an audiobook on Scribd either. No. The other memoir I have so many memoirs that I want to read, but none of them are audiobooks, and that's the issue I have with reading audiobooks, because I want to try and get my physical TBR down. But I don't really have I don't have that much access to audiobooks because I only use Scribd. Memoirs do I have on Scribd that aren't on my physical TBR? Again, not many. I have The Wrong End of the Table, a mostly comedic memoir of a Muslim Arab American whose kind of life centers around food. There's an immigrant love-hate story of what it means to be American. You know the feeling of being at the wrong end of the table. You're at a party, but all the good stuff is happening out of earshot. Hashtag FOMO. That's life, especially for an immigrant. What happens when a shy, awkward girl with a weird name is uprooted from her comfortable homeland of Iraq and thrust into the cold alien town of Columbus, Ohio, with its egg McMuffins, Barbie dolls, and kids playing doctor everywhere you turn. This one intrigues me more so that's an option. Just As I Am, a memoir written by Michelle Burford. This is being recommended to me generally recommended in a YouTube video from To Be Black and Loved, but I'm not vibing with it. It's very long. It's 16 hours. I'm not sure I'm here for that. So I think what I'm going to pick is The Wrong End of the Table, because it's written and narrated by Isaiah Salmon. I need to definitely figure out how to pronounce their name, but it's 7 hours. I listened to 2 times speed. Should take me the rest of my commute to work this week, and then that'll be another one done. So sorted. That's my next audiobook. I forgot the name of it then. So to start off this week, we have The Party Crasher, and a completely different spectrum, we have a memoir, Wrong End of the Table by Isaiah Salmon. Salmon? I would like to say that's how you pronounce her name. And the reason why I get prompts that are the same is because I put the prompts back in. Maybe I shouldn't, but I'm also like the fact that another prompt of the same could come up again. So there we have it. Those are my 2 books I'll be starting the week off with. Happy Thursday. I haven't updated in ages because my reading's been slacking this week. I really haven't kind of read as much as last week. Last week was a very heavy reading week, and I do feel that every time I have a really heavy reading week, I end up taking it slow the next week. I look really disheveled because I'm not feeling 100%. I feel like my head's really tense. So my bun is kind of as loose as it can be because I don't want my hair down either. But on the way to work this morning, I did finish my audiobook that I started. I pulled the prompt, I chose the audiobook, but I never kind of updated you because it was only 288 pages anyway, so I listened to it really, really quickly. It was fine. I don't rate non-fiction memoirs because you're judging someone's personal life experiences, and I just don't think that's correct. On Disclaimer, I did rate I'm Glad Her Mum Died by Jeanette McCurdy, just because I couldn't fault it in the way that she addressed her story. Whereas this one I'm not going to rate because I can't personally relate to the story. I didn't love the writing style. I thought it was trying too hard to be funny at times. Some parts of it were really slow, some bits were really interesting. I learned a lot from a different perspective, a different country, and coming into America and kind of feeling like an outsider from an Arab's perspective, and it hit on 9/11 and kind of how the world changed for them and their Muslim religion from that point onwards. So it wasn't really interesting in some elements, but when it kind of got to her younger years as well as her kind of later years of kind of growing up in school, also dating and relationships, because I don't know the actual author herself, I kind of didn't really relate and I couldn't really connect to the story, and I didn't find it that interesting because I don't know her kind of as a celebrity figure, so I didn't have any interest in her before reading this book. But I did learn some things and I did find it interesting at points, and I'm glad it was as short as it was because I don't think I would have had the brain capacity to continue listening because I didn't find it that interesting. So I'm glad it was a nice short snippet of a different perspective. But other than that, I'm kind of glad it's done. On to my next audiobook, which I'll probably end up starting tomorrow, but you guys know I love pulling prompts. So we're going to pull my next prompt to find out my next audiobook, and then I'll update you on my physical read as well. So let's go for this one. I'm hoping it's something different that we haven't had before. Out of comfort zone. Okay, out of comfort zone. Obviously this is an audiobook, so if I can get an audiobook that's outside my comfort zone, that's off my physical TBR, that would be beneficial, but I don't know if I will. Where is my phone? I think my phone's downstairs. Ugh, be right back. Okay, I'm back, loading up Scribd. Out of comfort zone. See, I would think out of comfort zone would be Sally Rooney, Conversations with Friends. But once again, across this entire kind of challenge so far, I don't want to listen to her work. I want to physically read it. Another one off my physical TBR that's out of my comfort zone is like The Vanishing Half, but I know I don't have the audiobook for that. Colin Hoover, Verity would be outside my typical genre. I don't know what else in terms of like what I have access to. Oh, this is going to be tricky. I love listening to audiobooks, but it is difficult when you have a prompt and you have to fit that prompt. I have Babel as an audiobook saved. I have so many kind of like romances. So it's going to be difficult. So the first one that's on my physical TBR is Conversation with Friends, but I'm not going to read that. All of these are contemporary romances. One True Love I have as an audiobook, but once again, that's not outside my typical genre. Ooh. Okay. One I could read that's outside my typical genre that is on my physical TBR is All My Mothers by Joanna Glenn. And that's not outside my typical genre. The prompt isn't outside typical genre, it's outside comfort zone. And to me, because that's really hefty, and I have read the first chapter before, and it felt quite dense and quite kind of like the writing was very different for me in terms of out of my comfort zone, because it wasn't kind of like easy contemporary romance writing. That is an option. All My Mothers by Joanna Glenn is an option. Where is it on my physical TBR? Because I completely missed it. Here, so this is definitely an option, and I'd actually be really happy if I could get that off my physical TBR. And then I can also kind of like read along with it if I feel like it, because I have the physical book. But other than that, they're all contemporary romances, apart from Jurassic Park, but I'm not reading that. Yeah, I think it's gonna have to be, unless for some reason I just search for, I don't know, a magic seeped in poison, which is not gonna be on here as an audiobook. No. What else is outside my typical genre that's on my physical TBR? That I know kind of might be, Verity might be on here, because they have like all of Colin Hoover books on Scribd. Nope. Not on here. Just gonna try one more, The Fortune Men. No, okay. So, because it's kind of like my only option, and I am trying to focus on reading my physical TBR this month, All My Mothers by Joanna Glenn is going to be my next audiobook read, and I'm actually really happy because the font is actually really small, so I'm intimidated by it, and it's kind of outside my comfort zone because I don't tend to read literary fiction, which is kind of more what this book encapsulates rather than kind of like your typical rom-com, chick lit, romance, contemporary book. So I'm counting it, my rules, my game. And yeah, this is going to be my next audiobook. In terms of my physical books that I'm reading, I'm not far through it at all. Like I said, I'm having a much slower reading week this week, but that is fine. I'm hoping to read a lot this evening because I'm in the mood to read. Mark has a football match that he wants to watch, so I have plenty of time to read. Hopefully I can fly through this. It is quick to read. I am enjoying it. It basically follows our main character, Effie. Our main character, Effie, whose family are selling the childhood home that she grew up in. The reason they're selling it is because her dad has divorced her stepmom, but her stepmom has been in her life since she was 3 years old, so really it is her only mother figure because her actual birth mother has died. So she's had this stepmother, Mimi, for her like pretty much entire life, and they end up getting divorced, and the dad ends up getting a new girlfriend really, really quickly, and they end up selling the house instead of keeping it. So they're having like a house cooling party, which is the reverse of a house warming party, which is where you throw a party when you're about to sell the house as like a farewell. However, her and her dad haven't spoken since this new girlfriend has come onto the scene, because this new girlfriend of her dad's she doesn't get along with her whatsoever, and she kind of has a real major grudge against her for like kind of ruining the house and the memories that it has, because she's like painted all over all the like memories, and she just kind of like has a massive grudge, and they kind of fall out, and therefore she hasn't spoken to her dad in ages. So then she doesn't get invited to this house calling party that her sister and her brother also get invited to, and all her family and friends. She is the only one not invited. So she ends up crashing the party and kind of getting all this inside secret knowledge without kind of being there, but kind of like secretly being there. So I've only just got to the part where she hasn't been invited, so I still have a lot of the book to kind of explore, but I'm enjoying it so far. It's a very easy book to read, so I'm intrigued to kind of carry on. But that is my reading update. This is my next audiobook. This is my current physical. Hopefully I can finish this book by the end of this weekend, or before the end of this weekend, so I can pull another prompt in this vlog, because you guys know I like pulling prompts. But that's the update. Let's put my prompt jar back up there, ready to pull my next book.
What if the wind could spread your love? What if your sweetness could reach everyone? There'd be no wars.
Happy Saturday. I didn't read anything yesterday, which is why I didn't update. I read a little bit today, but we've just got back from the cinema. We went to go see Dungeons and Dragons. Now that we have Odeon Limitless again, we are flying through movies, and there are some great movies coming out this year. Also highly recommend Dungeons and Dragons. It was really, really good. I was going to sit down and read now, but I remembered I need to edit a video for tomorrow, so I think I might try and get that out of the way before we start dinner, and then I just spend the rest of the evening after dinner reading, I think, is the plan. But yeah, didn't read anything yesterday. Haven't really made that much progress in the Party Crasher. It's downstairs, but I am now like 150 pages into it, so I'm still hoping I can finish it over the weekend. I'm sure I will, and I haven't made any progress in All My Mothers either. I think I'm just going to wait to start this on my commute next week, because I'm not sure I'm going to have any audiobook listening time over the weekend. But that's the update, and I'll keep posted. Happy Sunday. I read about 84 pages yesterday of The Party Crasher. I'm actually really, really enjoying it. I feel it's going to be like a solid 4-star. Really enjoying the characters. I've been laughing out loud multiple times, and it's just kind of like a really feel-good book. Really enjoying it, actually. Quite surprised, because I started reading it. To be fair, a lot of my TBR I started reading last year and then hit slumps, so I didn't continue. So half the time I thought it was me, half the time I thought it was the slump and the book. But this one's a good one. I'm enjoying it. Now the plan is to finish painting our garden. Our garden fence, not just our garden. Half of it's painted, half of it isn't. So we're going to finish painting the garden fence, and then it's time to get ready, because we're going over to my parents for Sunday roast today. I'm very excited. It's going to be gammon. Love me some gammon. I was persuaded. And then hopefully I can finish the rest of my book, and then I can say I've finished 3 books again this week, which will be absolutely brilliant. So yeah, that's exciting, but time to crack on with painting the garden fence. As you can tell, it's now Sunday evening and I'm in bed. It's 9:20. I have about 30 pages left of this book, so I'm gonna like stay awake until I can finish it, and then I will fall straight asleep. But I'm really, really enjoying it. I feel like it's gonna be like a good solid 4-star book. Yeah, and I will kind of talk about my thoughts fully in the morning once I finish this book, before I wrap up the vlog. But yeah, really enjoying it. Can't believe it's taken me so long to read, because I kind of was in a little bit of a reading slump at the beginning of the week. I feel like last week I really just burned myself out of reading, because I read like 2 450-page romance books, so I feel like I kind of burnt myself out a little bit. Thought I was kind of going into a slump because I wasn't that excited about this book, but kind of once I got 100 pages into it, I started really, really enjoying it. Kind of flew through it at the end of the week, so it kind of just took me a little bit of momentum to get back into my reading groove, but I'm glad it kind of didn't turn into a slump, and I just kind of needed a few days of like less reading to kind of get over the amount that I read last week, which is good. But enough rambling. I'm going to finish this book now and then go straight to sleep, and I'll update you on my thoughts in the morning. Night, guys. It is now the following Monday, and I'm here to wrap up this particular vlog. I had, yes, a slower reading week, but I still managed to read a 4.5 star, a 4-star, and a non-rated book, because it was a non-fiction memoir. So I still think a very successful reading week. My final thoughts on The Party Crasher is not too much more to report. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I laughed out loud multiple times. I loved the family dynamic. I loved the cute little romance that was going on. It was like silly, but like the perfect amount of silliness, as in like you never kind of like doubted what the main character's actions were and what her consequences were going to be, because it was just like fun. Like it was a fun time, and the situation she got herself into was brilliant, but it wasn't like so dramatic that you kind of thought it was unrealistic. I thought like the dynamic worked really, really well, which allowed for a really compelling storytelling kind of plot, because it was like constantly page turning because you wanted to know what situation Effie was going to get herself into next, but also like you wanted to kind of root for the characters and the relationship and the romance, and it just kind of like, it was like a perfect sort of equation for a good contemporary romance. Not even like a romance, just a good book. So that's my final thoughts on The Party Crasher. I gave it a solid 4 stars. Really enjoyed it, and I've heard other people rate it similar and also really enjoy it. So definitely one to look out for if you're intrigued to read it. I highly recommend. So that kind of wraps up this vlog. I have already pulled my next prompt pool, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss next week's vlog, where you see the mayhem commence once again on a Monday. Monday needs to be renamed Mayhem Monday because the prompts, yes, that's right, prompts I pulled for my first prompt pool of the week, it was chaos. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss that video, and I'll see you in my next one. Make sure you give it a massive thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.